Good evening. Welcome to our fifth grade band demonstration concert. We so appreciate you being here tonight. My name is Ken Goodman, and I am one of the fifth grade band directors for the Sycamore School District. Tonight we are going to demonstrate what we've been doing since we started instruments about 2 months ago, and what we've been working on in both our lessons and in our full band. Before that, I'd like to introduce the other people who help us out with our band. Mrs. Katie Cooper is one of our band directors, and she helps coordinate our program. Thank you. And just so you can put names with faces, Mrs. Cooper directs the full band at South Prairie and Southeast and teaches lessons at both of those schools. Also with us today is Mr. Mertens, who directs our full band at North Elementary School. There's Mr. Mertens. And he's also our middle school band director. My name is Ken Goodman again. I teach here at the high school, but I also direct the full bands at West and North Grove, and I teach lessons at every school except for South Prairie. So I think that kind of covers that, right? We got that covered? Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot. Mrs. Mertens, who is one of our music teachers at North and North Grove, also teaches some of our band lessons at North Elementary, too. So we appreciate having her help us out with that. Thank you, Mrs. Mertens. All right. So a couple overview things before we start. And like I said, this is sort of a demonstration concert. So not only are we playing some songs for you today, we're also kind of showing you a little bit about what we do, especially if it's something you haven't really seen before or aren't familiar with. So as I mentioned, students have been playing their instruments for about 2 months. They have 1 half-hour lesson every week. And then after a couple weeks, we started our full bands, which are 45 minutes after school, once a week as well. We want to see our students practicing and working at home. In addition to that, a couple minutes every day. Mr. Mertens will talk a little bit more about that later on. And we are playing out of the Standard of Excellence Band Method book. So, students, here's some reminders for you and things that we also like to remind them of while they're playing their instruments. We want to make sure that they're sitting up straight, that they're putting their feet on the floor. They're keeping their cheeks in when they play, no matter what instrument they're playing, except for percussionists, of course. And that they're also using air by breathing through their mouth and using that air and blowing it into their instrument. Things that we think that are really important. Now, we're going to also demonstrate how they make sounds right now. So, clarinet players, take off your mouthpiece and barrel. Our single reed players are clarinets, right? They put their teeth on the top of their mouthpiece. They roll their bottom lip in. And then they hold on to that mouthpiece using the corners of their mouth to create a sound. So clarinet players, let's hear what that sounds like. Ready? Go. Excellent. Thank you, clarinets. And we want them to get as high a sound as possible. That means they're holding on firmly to that mouthpiece. Flute players. We spent a couple weeks in flute just learning how to get a really good sound out of the head joint. That's the most important thing because that leads to good success on the instrument. So flutes, let's hear that head joint sound. Ready? Go. All right, there we go. Wonderful flutes. They have that tricky job of holding on to that instrument as they're playing it to the side. So we spend a lot of time working on 3 different notes. So flute players have had a lot. They have to work really hard because they have to do some catching up afterwards to get ready with these songs. And they did a really good job with that this year. We really appreciate that. Oboe players. Our oboes make a sound by rolling both of their lips in around their reed, and they get sort of a crowing sound or a duck calling sound on their reeds. So oboe players, let's hear that. Ready? Go. Yes. All of these sounds that they make, including what you're about to hear, is this the fancy French word for this is called embouchure. And don't ask me to spell it. I don't know if I could do it now, and I've been playing an instrument for a long time. But embouchure, it's how you hold your lips and your teeth and your face to get a sound on your instrument. So, last but not least, we have our brass player sounds. All of our brass players make their sounds the same way. They put their lips together like they're saying the word M, and then they push air between those lips to get the sound on their mouthpieces. So brass players, are we ready? Let's hear that sound on the brass. Ready? Go. All right. You know, if you've unless you've played a brass instrument before, it's really interesting because if you look at most brass instruments, they either have 3 buttons, maybe 4, or the trombone has a slide in which you can only place in about 7 different places. And from those 3 buttons or those 7 positions, they have to make like 40 different notes ultimately. So it's really cool how they have to do that. Okay, finally, our percussionists. We work hard on holding the drumsticks. Hey, percussionists, why don't you hold those sticks up for us, please? Just do that little wave right there. We want to make sure our percussionists are holding with their first finger and thumb, because if they don't, the stick will wobble around and they won't get that really strong, confident sound we want to hear on both mallet instruments and on snare drum. And I know I told my students, they've been playing mallets almost exclusively to this point in time, that we're going to start snare drum before our winter break, so they're pretty excited about that. All right, percussion, we're going to play a B flat all together. So we can find that nice firm use of that wrist. We want to see a nice good snap on the wrist when they're doing that. We don't want to use the arm. That will get too tired too fast. All right, percussion, B flat. Ready, and go. There we go. There's that B flat. All right, we found the right note. Good job. Okay, so all these different instruments, all these different ways of making sound together, we make a band. And this is, of course, as most of you know, this is all 5 of our elementary schools. All students from all 5 of our schools. We practiced for a half an hour before this concert, and we're putting this all together to kind of show you what we can do now. So our method book, as I said before, is the Standard of Excellence Book 1. And we're actually going to play from the very beginning of the book. We're going to play Song 1 for you. This is a concert D, and every instrument is going to be holding out a long note, except for our percussionists who are going to play quarter notes. So everyone else is playing whole notes to get 4 counts. So Mrs. Cooper is going to direct the band through Song 1. Okay, next we move on to Song 2, and we learn our next note, concert C. This is called The Fun Continues, song number 2. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier. We always encourage our brass players, especially, and our flutes and clarinets and oboes have been doing this a little bit too, but they've generally, now that they're playing and they're moving their fingers, they're not doing this as much. We want to encourage the brass players to continue, when they warm up that mouthpiece, to always buzz a little bit before they play. We have them do like siren sounds where they go up and down a little bit. I should have had them demonstrate that. It's kind of cool because it helps with their flexibility. And also a cold mouthpiece and cold lips are also, it's like you don't want to start out for a run without being a little warmed up first. So same thing with our brass players. So if you hear them buzzing their mouthpieces before they start playing, that's a good thing. We want to hear that. Okay, next song, we learned concert B flat. And now we have 3 notes that we've learned together, and we're going to put them all together in one song. We still have little spaces between them, as you'll hear in this next one. This is song 5, Mix Up. So now that we've worked on changing notes, we're going to start putting them together consecutively and not with spaces between them. And it is very important. We cannot encourage our students enough that we have 3 things we have to know. We have to know what the note is that we see on the page. We know that that's a D or a C or a B flat. Then we have to know where it is, what it's called. So we see that note and go, that's what it is. It's on this spot on the staff. It's called that note. And then what do my fingers do, or where do I find this instrument? Where do I find this note on my instrument? So all those pieces are really important. Sometimes if students would like to write notes in, we do allow them to do that. It's not something that we say you can't do, but we want them to work on that and eventually start to be able to the point where they can read not just the names of the notes, but the music itself. So that's why we only start out with our first 3 notes. And now that we have those 3 notes, we're going to put them together into an actual song. This is a Welsh folk song, Cardiff by the Sea. And not only does it use whole notes, like you just heard, it also uses half notes, which get 2 beats. And our percussionists are playing those quarter notes that get 1 beat. Cardiff by the Sea. Those first couple weeks can be interesting for you and for the students. Some of the sounds you hear might be a little bit unusual, but as you can hear now, by the time we've gotten to song 12, we're really starting to put the notes together and make them sound, and not just like the actual note, but actually sound really nice and getting a pleasant sound. We're going to talk a little bit more about some rhythm things than that, but first of all, I'm going to have Mr. Mertens come out. He's going to talk to you a little bit about the practicing that we want to see from our students as we work through this year. So Mr. Mertens, come on out.
Sorry. Yes. So practice. That's what I'm supposed to talk about, right? Yes. Okay. So one of my esteemed colleagues once told his students, practice only on the days you breathe. Now, I realize that that's not always the case for some students, and I get that. But I will say, though, that the repetitive practice does pay dividends. In 6th grade, they're going to be playing their instruments every day, most likely, especially if they're just doing band and not choir orchestra. So they would be, in 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, they'd be playing their instrument every day. So some things will come more quickly. In 5th grade, it's kind of like, okay, here's the concept, and then part of how this works is that they do need to practice that concept to get better at it. So there's a lot of hoping going on our end. So the practice piece really is important. It will help. And it's one of the reasons that you'll see that the 6th graders grow really fast. But we want these guys to grow fast. So if you can find a time for like 10, 15, 20 minutes for them to play that instrument every day, it helps a ton. Ideally, we're going to be able to get a number of these students through the Red Book, and then we will most likely, if they reach the end of the Red Book, we'll have an incentive for them that we'll announce at some point. So, anyway, at this point, now that we can handle whole notes and half notes, I think that's where I am in the program. Yes, we will move on to the quarter notes on number 15. That's correct. In our book, our brass and woodwind players will be focusing on tonguing correctly while counting rests on number 15, a quarter's worth.
All right. Not the most interesting song, but very important for our students to develop that habit of separating the notes, using the tongue to get a really clear, and actually it's easier to make the sounds too when you have the tongue to help make that sound a start. Next one. We actually started the year with this song because we start not in the book, but on a separate sheet of paper to kind of get the students used to just getting sounds on the instrument. It's a very important song in the world of music, a recorder and other instruments too. This is song 16, Hot Cross Buns. Thank you. All right, so now we've really, at this point on, from here on out, now the exercises in the book are songs that work on the notes and the rhythms that we're learning, or they are exercises that develop some of those same techniques. So the rest of the songs we're playing for you are the songs that the students have been working on since jumping off from this point in the book. The first one that we learn is Au clair de la lune, which is French, and the translation is By the Light of the Moon. This is song number 17, Au clair de la lune. I'd like to take a moment. We're going to introduce one of our Sycamore Music Booster members, Adrian Tallickson, who's going to tell you a little bit about our Music Booster organization.
Hi, my name is Adrian Tallickson. I'm the Vice President of the Sycamore Music Boosters. And you can think of the Music Boosters as kind of like the PTO for Sycamore's amazing music program. The fundraising that we do goes toward all grade levels, from elementary music on up to all of the ensembles that we have at the high school. So the funds are used for things like new marching band uniforms, or the field trip that fourth graders recently went to see the Kishwaukee Symphony Orchestra, other field trips that the music groups take, camp scholarships in the summer. We really work hard to make sure that we can supplement the Sycamore music program experience. We do have a fundraiser coming up in January. It's our kind of night out for parents to come to Bloom Gardens and enjoy some live music. We have raffle and auction items. That's going to be on January 24th. Again, at Bloom Gardens in the new year. Just something to get out of the house after the holidays and come enjoy a night out with live jazz, some snacks, and just a great community event for us. We also have monthly meetings. Those are on the third Thursday of every month. We don't have one this month just because of the holidays, but we'll be meeting again on January 15th. Those are at 6 p.m. in the Sycamore High School Library. We'd love to have more parents involved. We're always looking for parents to serve as board members. We are looking for a couple of people to help run the autumn craft fair that we do over Pumpkin Fest weekend. Hopefully you were able to come out and visit us for that. And everything we do is really toward making the music experience better for our students, whether they are just starting out like our fifth graders tonight, or some of our seniors who might be going on to competitions later in the year. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, please reach out to your music teacher and they can put you in touch with us, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Thank you. All right, on to our next song. I guess they learn how to do that for applauding for people? Okay, cool, good. That's what we usually do in music when we have someone come on the stage. Our next song, Country Walk, introduces a new note, concert E flat. So now we're up to our fourth note on our instruments at this point in time. So this is in song 20, Country Walk. And then we move on to adding our fifth note that we have now on the instrument, concert F, to play the song Merrily We Roll Along, which you may also recognize as Mary Had a Little Lamb. And this song also uses the repeat sign, which means we're going to play it twice. This is song 23, Merrily We Roll Along.
Hi there. Before I forget, I just wanted to let all the parents know we received our shipment of band spiritware yesterday. So I'm going to be down here and dispersing those to you after the concert. If there'll be plenty of time for those parents, if you're waiting on your children, you can come on up here and I'll hand those out. I have a box full of them, so be patient with me. But I'm going to be set up right here in just about a couple minutes. Okay, so. If you see me come out with a big box, that's what I'm doing. And Mr. Goodman will talk with you about how to pick up your children afterwards. Okay? Thank you.
Just want to remind everyone, because we actually have another concert at the end of January, we are continuing with our after-school band rehearsals tomorrow at West. Wednesday at North. Let's try to get the W's correct here. Tomorrow at North and also Thursday at Southeast. We are continuing with our after-school rehearsals up through the winter break. So please plan on students continuing to be there after school. And then we will also start up again right away when you come back to school in January, although I believe Monday is an institute day, so there won't be any lessons or band at West on the Monday back from school, but we'll continue on Tuesday with our after-school rehearsals then. Just make sure that you're all knowing what's going on with that. That concert in January is also going to include a piece of sheet music. So we're going to be playing a song that's not from our book. So we're going to be doing a song not in the book, but then some other book songs as well. Okay, so we're coming up to our final piece on the concert, which is actually a really fun one to play because it's more than one part. That's very exciting. Just so here's how we're going to do this at the end of the concert, just so you know. We're going to dismiss the students back to the rooms where they have their instruments cases stored. They're going to put those instruments away and get their coats, and then they're going to come back out to the hallway out here to meet you. So you can wait out here in the hallway around the corner in this area, and they'll be coming out from the music department to meet you out there. So we appreciate that. That way we only have traffic flowing in one direction at that time. You can also wait in here if you'd like, depending on what you've talked to your student about. Otherwise, you can find them in the hallway afterwards. All right? I think that pretty much covers how we need to do that, right? Okay. This is our last song of the concert. This is a great song because it is a two-part song. First time we've done that. So there are two parts to it. You're going to hear all those parts played in their individual pieces as well. The song is Lightly Row. It's song 24 in the book. And we're going to start by having the entire band play the A line, which is the melody. Now the entire band is going to play the B line, which is the harmony. Before we put the parts together, I would like to take an opportunity to, first of all, to thank all of you parents, guardians, grandparents, caregivers for supporting your students in band. It's exciting, but it can be a little challenging at first, and it can be frustrating. We know, and Mr. Burns talks about this a lot in middle school especially, that the grit that these students get from being persistent is really helpful, not just in band, but in everything that they do. So thank you for sharing them with us and making this a part of what they do. We know that students have a lot of choices and a lot of things that they do, and we appreciate having that opportunity. I would also like to thank the fifth grade teachers, the school principals, and the support staff and administrative staff for helping these students with things, reminding them about band lessons, encouraging them, all the things that they do. We couldn't have success without that. So thank you to all those people who have helped supported these students, not just in their band lessons, but outside of that. Finally, we are going to put the two parts together to conclude the concert. So this is song 24, Lightly Row. The brass are going to play the A line or the melody. The woodwinds are going to play the B line or the harmony, and the percussion get to choose if they're going to play the melody or the harmony. Thank you again for coming to our concert tonight. Here is Lightly Row as a duet. Well, great concert. Great job, band. You did an awesome job tonight. We're so proud of the work that they've done. And this was only 2 months of rehearsal so far. So I hope you're looking forward to hearing them again in January. I think you're going to be really amazed by what you hear. And you'll also get a chance to hear our 8th grade band and one of our high school bands play too. So it's a really neat concert. All right, we're going to dismiss our percussion section at this time. Everyone, again, please wait for your students in the auditorium or out in the hallway, and then see Mr. Mertens down here for the spirit wear if you've bought that. Have a great evening. Thank you for being here tonight.